It is our species' highest joy and passion to be able to interact with you in this unique way through this particular channel. How are you doing this day?
I am great. Thank you for being here.
Yes, it is our joy and passion to do so.
So if there's a way you could guide me on this, I've never spoken to any channeled entity, but I'll just start with the question. Um, but yeah, any guidance of yours would be appreciated to allow me to serve myself with this session and other selves.
All
Uh,
right.
um, my memory. Do you have any idea where my memory has gone over the last few years? It seems like I can barely remember anything. And
Well,
it's
you're familiar with the idea of you need to know whatever it is that you know in the moment.
right.
So
Yes.
recognize that even though you may not be consciously remembering these things, that doesn't mean that you are without something that is essential. Whatever you know in the moment, whatever information you're aligned with is exactly what you need. If there is something from the past that is required for your present, that will automatically come forth through your own memory or perhaps through the assistance of another person. Because remember, other people are extensions of you. Therefore, they can also assist you in honing in on the frequencies of different memories. So you have a few tools available to you in that way, and just recognize that the information will naturally become apparent and obvious at the exact moment that it's needed. If you are in an awareness of the information in the moment, it means it's not required. If it is of your highest excitement to discover the answer to these questions or to discover the idea of these particular memories, then understand that is your invitation to dive into the realm of memory and what you consider to be the past so you can explore and recall some of those frequencies. So it's a matter of really paying attention to your underlying motivations. If you feel you are lacking, you are deficient in information, then attempting to seek that out in your past will likely just lead you in circles. But should you feel excited to recall certain things, to explore certain memories, and excitement is your motivational energy, then you will find whatever information is connected to your state of excitement will then reveal itself to you naturally. In terms of things you can do to boost the energetic power of your memory, there are different types of exercises that can be done to train memory. These are memory exercises that have been practiced by your Greek cultures and other cultures that simply relate to the idea of you imagining a space that you're familiar with, such as a house, and inserting into the space triggers, visual images that are designed to represent certain facets of information that you desire to remember. The key is to make the visual triggers as extreme and memorable as possible. And you can actually strengthen the muscles of your memory through training it in that particular way, through memory exercise, memory training. There are also certain herbs that you can consume that can also assist with memory. What has been called bacopa, what has been called gotu kola, what has been called the lion's mane mushroom. All of these things can also energetically strengthen what you call memory. So there's a few ways you can explore this concept.
Okay, so about memory, I'm mostly concerned with I learn a lot, I take in a lot of information, and that's what I'm concerned with retaining. But on that same note, is there any guidance you can give me on where I should be spending my energy in terms of attaining information? Uh, I like to teach, I like to have an awareness of life, and I like books, I like documentaries. And is there anything you can give me on like a point in a direction of what would be very efficient for me in terms of seeking information?
Well, it's the same as what we have suggested before. Follow the idea of your passion. Your passion, that state of being, will automatically connect you to all things that are for you, that serve you, that encourage your development. That means when you choose to exist in an energetic state of passion, you will align with sources of information that naturally reflect back to you that energy. Just as you know, there are many teachers of the same subject. Not all of those teachers will really resonate with you, but some of them will. And that is for you to discover through the idea of really getting in touch with that intuitive heart connection. Because from your heart, you can feel the energetic quality of the different sources of information. Some of them will be more connected to your heart than others, and that's how you know which ones are most appropriate and are most relevant for you and your process. So it's just a matter of getting in touch with these sources of information. When you learn what you are excited to learn about, you will naturally retain the information because it's connected in some way to your fundamental core. And because your fundamental core is eternal, things that are connected to it will also mirror that quality of unconditional existence. So all information that you consume that's directly connected to your passion will be information that sticks. It will be information that you can call upon synchronistically when it is needed. And of course, when you really align with sources of information that are connected to your excitement, that ability to really embody and digest the information increases.
So excitement is and passion are the emotions to gravitate towards.
You call them emotions and they can translate emotionally, but these are actually states of being that are vibrationally higher than what you call human emotions, although they can manifest as human emotions. Because even when you let go of the emotional body and you continue to raise your frequency to go into higher levels of the self, those qualities of unconditional love, passion, excitement are all present, even after you have let go of the emotional body. And that is because those qualities are not inherently emotional. They are representations of the underlying energy that manifests as existence. Those qualities can, of course, express as human emotion, and many of you connect those to your reward systems, your neural reward systems, your dopamines, your serotonins, your oxytocins, so on and so forth. But those qualities transcend neurotransmitters, transcend hormones, and they transcend the human experience altogether. Does that make sense?
So these things that we call emotions do not reside in the body.
They have a biological connection in relationship to emotional energies, yes. And these higher frequencies of energy that are non-emotional in nature can translate emotionally through you, and that can create certain hormonal and neurotransmitter dynamics within your system that act as a physical reflection of those energies. But those energies themselves transcend the human emotional experience altogether. But the human emotional experience is capable of expressing and translating those energies for you, so you can experience positive emotions.
Okay. Is there anything that I can do to improve my fiance's trust in myself? She seems to have anxiety about me from things in our past.
All right. Well, the idea is to demonstrate that you are a person whom is trustworthy. That's really the key. It's embodying that self that you prefer to be in the relationship. And as you embody that self and become that self, others will take notice. So what we would encourage here is really focus on becoming the highest possible version of yourself and align with that as consistently as you can. And through you consistently embodying that behavior, it will become apparent that you are trustworthy. So in this instance, demonstration of that state of trustworthiness is something that will allow for you to more deeply step into that dimension of the self. And it will also allow for your partner to more easily perceive that dimension of you. If you, let's just say, worry or obsess over her point of view and attempt to change yourself in a way to adjust her point of view, what you will find is the adjustments will not be permanent. And in many ways, it may actually highlight imbalances that exist. So the key here is alignment, because that will naturally correct the imbalances, and you'll be making the change for you. When you make the change for you so you can be your true self, again, the motivational energy is connected to that source level. So the change will be more substantial. It will be more unconditional in nature. So that's really the key to focus on here.
I feel like I'm completely committed physically, emotionally, mindfully, but maybe I don't do the greatest job expressing what you're saying and how I feel to her in a way that's receptive, or maybe in her language, so to speak. Is there anything that you can do to um, increase the effectiveness of how I feel, or the harmony of how I feel towards her?
Well, it all comes down to the idea of you expressing your inner self in as many dimensions of your life as is possible. For understand that romantic expression is just one way that you express yourself. And understand that it is a methodology of self-expression that is very much related to what you call the idea of the inner feminine and the outer masculine in relationship to you specifically. So we're going to dive into this a little bit more deeply.
Please.
Recognize that those inner and outer energies work together so you can express yourself effectively in as many dimensions of your life as possible. These energies most powerfully express in the idea of romance, because when you are with a partner of the opposite gender, they act as a reflection for that inner feminine energy. And you do the same thing for them as a reflection of the inner masculine energy. So the idea is, as you get more in touch with that inner feminine creative energy that desires expression, and as you express that more in your life, you will be able to more deeply relate to the feminine quality of your partner. You will understand what has been called her love language in a deeper way. You will understand more of her elemental balance and constitution, which will assist you in understanding what types of energies to present to her. Because if a person is of a certain elemental constitution and you present energy that, let's just say, suppresses that constitution or imbalances it, it will create disharmony. So a part of learning how to communicate deeply with your partner is also learning how to connect more deeply with that inner feminine dimension of yourself. And as you learn how to communicate with that inner dimension, you'll understand how to do it very clearly externally. That inner self-exploration comes from, again, expressing yourself as creatively as you can in all areas of your life. That's how you reveal that occult, hidden feminine energy, through expressing it externally. That's how you get to know it. And through getting to know it, you'll know how to relate to it in relationship to another person. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so.
All right.
Connecting with other spirits. Is this something that can also be practiced? I feel a connection to the earth and to trees and things of this nature, but is there a way to expand the connection so that it's more easily perceived? For
Yes.
instance, the way
Yes.
that you're being channeled right now. I've never experienced anything like that. What
Yes.
direction
It's
could I?
all about the idea of expanding your connection to energy. It's all about the idea of expanding your awareness of the astral realm and developing what you would call your inner senses. Just how you have outer senses that can perceive sight, smell, taste, sound, you also have inner senses that are capable of perceiving the same things, but on an energetic level. So, using the imagination, you can visualize the type of consciousness, the type of spirit, the type of being you wish to connect to. And through relaxing, you can visualize yourself energetically merging with this being. And then simply imagine that they have something to say. If you had to imagine what this particular entity would desire to say to you, let yourself hear that imagining. And you'll find you are actually receiving genuine communications, genuine messages from your own higher self, using the being as a permission slip to more easily perceive that connection. So there are many different methods, there are many different techniques that can enable you to develop yourself in such a way. Meditation is the strongest starting point because it allows for you to quiet the mind, relax the body, which really is the essential foundation. So you can, in an unbiased way, perceive the information of the astral realm. So a basic meditation practice will serve you here. The idea of guided visualization practices will also serve you here. So you can exercise the visual component of your imagination. So you can then use that visual component to picture these beings. And then through guiding yourself through your own visualizations, you can perceive yourself merging with these beings, thus allowing for you to access their energy and their information.
Awesome. I don't know if it's correct, but I understand that there may be multiple realities happening on this earth right now, or what I perceive as reality seems to be a mixture of different different I don't even know what I'm trying to ask. Like, is there many different things happening in reality right now? Like, let's just say for example of the origin of human beings on this planet. I feel that there's information that this is all a game, like a matrix type thing. In yoga, this is kind of like an illusion, and we're all, creative source energy, imagining this life. Or like I feel like you might be from the future coming back, and then there's other things of like extraterrestrials doing experiments on this planet, and then the theory of evolution. Is there one way of understanding this, or is it many different ways of understanding what is?
It's both. Because you can always just focus on one story, one narrative, one perspective, and that's fine. You can build all types of experiences from one perspective. But because all that is contains all that is, all perspectives, all points of views have the ability to find common ground, to find unifying principles that link them. So you can align with just one idea, one narrative, but you also have the ability to blend all types of different ideas and narratives, which you're technically doing all the time. The fact you can interact with other people who have different perspectives is evidence that you are constantly blending narratives, you're blending energies with different realities to create a unique shared experience. So recognize it's all about how you prefer to relate to these topics. But because many of you have your own unique perspectives, making you capable of seeing things that others cannot see, it is advantageous to blend many of the different narratives. Because again, since they all emanate from the same source, they will all have common ground despite contradictions. And when you focus on the common ground that each of the narratives possess, you will then understand more about the actual nature of the situation. And when we say actual nature of the situation, we're not referring to an objective reality. We are referring to a version of reality that most greatly aligns with whatever your true north is. But it is just another subjective reality. It's just one that happens to be most connected to you. And that can be accessed through the idea of blending different narratives that different people possess. So you can understand how all of these different pieces actually fit together, because they already do. But they can fit together in a way that is perhaps more practical and more functional. And through piecing all of these different connecting points together, you'll understand more about the greater narrative of how you are creating reality. The final thing we'll say on this is each perspective is its own universe. So every perspective that you align with represents you blending with another alternate reality, merging with it in different ways.
So every thought its own universe?
Yes. Every feeling, every thought. And every variation of what appears to be the same feeling or thought is its own unique, discrete universe.
So because of that, I've expressed to people, I just want to get your standpoint on this. I've said things like I don't necessarily feel that there's a such thing as something being not true or false. If somebody said it, then it is true in the nature that it was said. Is that accurate?
You're playing around with the idea that all truths are true. So yes, understand that all things are true in a relative sense, but also in a sense that transcends relativity altogether. What we mean by this is any belief system that you hold on to, be it accurate or inaccurate with the nature of reality, will enable you to create your own reality as if it were true. All belief systems, no matter how fantastical or mundane they are, no matter how positive or negative they are, will allow for you to create all types of unique universes and divergent universes from them. So they're all true in the sense that they all work. They can all be used to create your reality. Whether they are factually true depends on the version of Earth that you are on, because different versions of Earth will have different ways of expressing and organizing energies. Therefore, things can express in different ways on different versions of Earth. So these things can also be relatively true depending on the version of Earth that they emanate from in terms of them just being ideas. And again, you'll notice some ideas don't really connect with your heart. And those represent versions of Earth, those represent universes that really aren't aligned with you. So you don't have to adopt them. You don't have to choose them. Even though they might be factually true on that version of Earth, that doesn't mean it has to be factually true on yours. You're generating your version of Earth based off your frequency. So the key is align with the narratives, align with the ideas that really reflect your preferred Earth experience, and you'll experience more of that preferred Earth each day. And remember, even though it might seem as if there are all of these teachers and speakers sharing objective truth, they're just sharing ideas that may be relevantly true to them based off their Earth, based off their experience. So you can always mix and match ideas, blend things, create your own beliefs that holistically represent passion and preference to you, and that will then flavor your Earth experience.
So regarding how, thank you for that. Regarding how I utilize my time and energy and money on this planet, I feel uh, like if I buy a shirt, it might have been made in a way that's not really in harmony with me. How, how do I make sense of that version or that aspect of this reality where it seems like my participation may be resulting in taking advantage of other people, of other entities in a way that I don't necessarily, well, I guess I am agreeing with it if I'm participating in it, but
Yes, you're agreeing to it, you're empowering it. Whether that's directly or indirectly, it's happening if you choose to purchase certain things or partake in certain dynamics with others on your planet.
is there a way is there a way to participate in capitalism in a way that benefits everybody?
Yes, of course. And it all comes down to, again, making choices from a place of passion. Because understand, right now, it might seem as if it is impossible to escape the generation of suffering through commerce. But understand, as you change your frequency, different options for commerce will then become available to you. And you will find different businesses, different organizations that are doing their best to make a positive impact on the planet, that are doing their best to honor the lifestyles and life qualities of their employees will become more common. They will become more predominant. And as you invest in those organizations and companies, you'll find on your version of Earth, more of them will arise. And this will eventually lead to an entire shift in commerce on your world. Because eventually what will happen is, instead of money being the means of exchange, what you will find is your own innate preference and passion and how you express that will become the medium of exchange. It will eventually shift into that, but you get to that point through interacting with your markets in a preferred passion-based way. And for many of you, that might mean only supporting businesses that are uplifting the planet, that are uplifting the species. And that's how you can begin to make that shift, which will ultimately transform your capitalistic system into a version of commerce that is based on unique passion and excitement.
I'm having trouble finding somewhere to put the extra money that I make each month in terms of investments, and I am aligned with growing money, growing monetarily, because I'm able to express myself more fully. But I'm having trouble finding where I should place my money, because something like real estate isn't necessarily something I'm passionate about. It would be just something I would be taking a risk on to grow money. Is there anything that you know of that would be aligned with myself? I don't know if you're connected with me. I don't know if you can give this information of which
Yes,
direction I should
again,
look.
it's all the same. It's all the
Yeah,
same
I
basic
know.
information. What represents your passion? If investing in the real estate market does not represent your passion, it means there's another way. There are other things you can invest in. There are other types of markets and companies you can invest in. It's all about, again, checking in with your heart and feeling which options are most connected to your passion and your joy. You'll know it. If you stay open, you'll feel that full body resonance that represents you really linking up with something that is connected to your passion. So just stay sensitive for that, because it doesn't have to be real estate. It can be many other forms of investment. It can even involve investing, again, in companies and organizations that you are passionate about, that you believe in. There's all types of different ways that you can explore this.
Are you able to give me any direction, or am I to do what you're saying, which is to follow my heart?
Both. We can offer both. What are the types of businesses you would prefer to invest in, if that is how you prefer to use your money at all? Because there may be other ways to use your money besides investing that are more exciting. But to really hone in on this, what types of organizations, what types of businesses would you prefer to invest in?
Yeah, this is some self diagnostic that I need to do.
Yes, yes. Well, to offer you the guidance we mentioned, pay attention in your imagination to the version of Earth that you prefer to be on. Really get
Okay.
clear on what that looks like. Become very specific, very detailed. Really picture this, really align with it, and pay attention to the types of businesses and organizations that are present on that version of Earth. And that will clue you in into the types of businesses, the types of organizations you can invest in that align with your heart and your true nature. The version of Earth you prefer to be on will communicate that to you.
Thank you. There's this institute called the Heart Math Institute, which is talking about how the heart and the brain and the coherence between the two are important. And I don't know much about it, but I am under the understanding that the heart, the brain, every cell in our body, uh, the more coherent, the more in line we are with ourself, the more in line and powerful we can be in reality.
Yes.
Is there any way you can elaborate on that? Because I find myself in situations where I have to explain our power within ourself and how that relates to influence or creator powers into reality.
Yes, we'll understand the idea is you are a microcosm. You are a microcosmic reflection of source, of divinity. As you know, source, all that is divinity, is expressing itself as all possible phenomena. Simultaneously, eternally, it's doing this all at once because there's only one moment. When you dial in to the frequencies within yourself that connect to that source level, you take on its role, you take on its power, you take on its energy. Therefore, you can use the energies of source through inner alignment as a means of amplifying your own personal will, your own personal path or intention for your life. And through maintaining that inner harmony with source, you can then project the powers of source into those directions that you prefer to nourish. But if you are only nourishing those directions with energies that are of a lesser quality than source, they will naturally be weaker directions. But if you empower them with the energy of source of all that is, they will take on the qualities of source and all that is. They will become immortal. They will become unconditional realities. They will become, in a sense, crystallized into existence in a very deep way. And it is the energy of source that allows for you to create in that way. So the more aligned you are internally, the more aligned you are with that fundamental creative force that you can then channel through you to amplify your direction.
I was considering asking you this next question. I wasn't sure if I should or what, but then you actually said the question I wanted to ask, which is, yeah, which is, we said when you dial, but the question was what happens when we die, like in a way that can be explainable to people who are attached to the physical body. Like what happens when our physical body passes?
You're changing your outfit.
Hmm.
Simple as that. You're taking off clothing. If you really want to break it down to someone, that's all it is. Your body is just a temporary vessel. Your consciousness exists independently of the body. For example, your body was born, it has an origin point, linearly speaking. You can look at your birth certificate. Your consciousness was never born. Your consciousness has always existed. It is, again, a fractal of source energy. It is eternal, it is infinite. That dimension of you dives into the experience of time through diving into material form, because time and materiality go hand in hand. They connect and support one another. This has to do with different ideas such as gravity and mechanics of the physical universe. But when you have physical things, time will be produced as a byproduct of how those things, intelligences, experience their physicality. It's filtered through the experience of time. So ultimately, the idea is when you die, you are taking off your physical time machine, so to say, and you step into a realm of timelessness. You step into the realm of spirit. You are naturally lighter in nature because a part of your physicality is your physical ego. And when you die, you also take off the physical ego, and that's what causes you to experience a oneness with everything. You're no longer wearing the filter. So from that spirit perspective, you can then go through all types of different experiences that allow for you to continue your education, that can allow for you to operate as a guide so you can benefit those that were a part of your physical life. There's all types of different things that you could do as a spirit, and many spirits will choose, linearly speaking, to, in a sense, go through an energetic recycling where they take on new qualities, new ideas, new patterns, and that person's consciousness will then express as a new consciousness altogether that will then incarnate into whatever body or form most greatly represents its energetic patterns. And linearly speaking, the cycle continues. So you'll have physical experiences designed to educate you and grow you. Then you will have spirit experiences designed to educate and grow you. And then you'll oftentimes, linearly speaking, incarnate once more to ground in the spiritual understandings you received pre-lifetime. And it's not as if that's the only way to roll, so to say. You also have the ability to transcend that experience of linear incarnation altogether. That's also available. So when you are in spirit, many different possibilities open up. It all depends on the sophistication and intelligence of your consciousness when you're operating in those realms. Because if a consciousness is not very developed, there is less it is capable of in that pre-lifetime phase. The more developed it is, the more it's capable of. It's the same thing on Earth. If you only know very basic things and haven't developed yourself, you're only capable of basic possibilities. But if you have honed your skill sets and your consciousness while on Earth, you can expand and express yourself in many different ways. So it's the same idea in spirit.
Is there benefit to gaining perspective on are these lifetimes happening simultaneously,
Yes,
or
they're happening simultaneously, but you don't really have that perspective available to you because of your incarnation. So again, because you have incarnated into time, your consciousness makes these experiences look linear. But in the spirit realm, you're not really using the same frequency of time. So things become incredibly simultaneous in your perception from the spirit perspective. They only appear to be linear because of the physical effect that time has on your consciousness.
and how do physical people gain access to other versions of themselves and other entities and other dimensions?
Fundamentally, it is the same concept. Just as we described to you, imagining your preferred version of Earth, imagine a version of Earth that represents a lifetime you feel you are connected to. And you can scan into this by just detecting what cultures, what periods of your history you find yourself to be attracted to. Once you, again, through the heart, feel the coherence, feel the resonance, you have a lead. And the idea is to then imagine a version of Earth where that society is active. Take a moment to observe the culture, the way things are done, and then imagine how you would prefer to express yourself as a citizen within that society, as a member of that culture. And through you just observing that imagining, that alternate self will actually communicate to you their nature, their lifestyle, their ideas. So your imagination is like a satellite dish. It can tune to many different frequencies. It can connect to many different realities. So it is the imagination that allows for you to tune in, to align with these different lifetimes or other beings, so on and so forth. So utilize that and pay attention to, again, the energetic quality behind the imaginings. It's the energetic quality, the feeling of resonance that determines if you are accurately perceiving the information.
So about resonance, is there an activity or an exercise that you could suggest that would allow a person to a meditation of sorts or breath work or something that would allow a person to become more in resonance with themselves or with source?
Yes, there are many exercises that can assist in this, all types. It's important to really gravitate to techniques that resonate with you, ultimately, because some techniques may not really be your style, but for other people, they may work brilliantly. It's all about what you feel connected to. Are there certain cultures? Are there certain traditions? Are there certain practices you find yourself drawn to?
Well, that's a question that I have, is that I would like to get deeper into a culture or a practice, but again, I'm at this state where I don't know which direction to go. I mean, that's work that I can do.
Even though
Uh,
you may not intellectually know where to go, which is not needed, by the way, you can simply tune in again to the heart and just present to it different cultures you're curious about, which ones most greatly activate your heart. That's not an intellectual thing, that is a felt thing. So we would encourage you begin there, because it's likely whatever tradition you train in will be connected to what you might call past selves who have also trained in that. And through connecting with that tradition and those past selves, you begin to build off of those momentums presently. So are there certain cultures you have been drawn to even when you were young?
uh, Not that I can remember. I was not very conscious. Well, not that I can remember now, but maybe I could do some work in that. I feel like now I'm being very drawn to African type, even just looking at African people, there's a magnetism that I feel in that direction. So
And
I
there
don't know
you
what
have
that
it.
means.
Yes, that's your lead. That's your invitation in.
Right.
So follow
Okay.
this. There are people that can train you. Those traditions are still alive. So it may require a little bit of research, but you can hone in on traditions that are of African origin that can assist you in developing yourself. All cultures have their own esoteric understandings of the body. So you will find African traditions will also educate you and benefit you here.
All right. Is there I'm really, can you answer questions like yes or no, or
Yes, we can
how?
do that.
So if I just said if I just said would it be beneficial for me to start my own podcast? Would that be a question you could answer?
Yes, this is something we can answer, of course.
Could you answer that?
Well, does it excite you?
It does excite me.
Then that's all you need to know. That's it. End it there. Because anything else about will this benefit me? Will this bring me this? All of that is future projection. And it doesn't really bring you anything. If anything, it depletes you. And it takes your resources from the present moment and allocates them to the future, which doesn't technically exist because the future is just another present moment. So instead of wondering what will happen, trust your passion, go forth and see what happens. Let yourself be surprised. Let yourself experience the novelty of existence. So it's all right not to know. You're not supposed to know. As we've said, you know what you need to know exactly when you need to know it. So if you want to know what these things will actually bring, if you truly want to know that, explore them. As soon as you need to know what they will bring you, you'll know because it will be happening.
Wow. Do you have any ideas on which book I could read that would give me some good insights? I'm running out of questions here.
Well, what particular insights are you desiring to explore? There's many different things. What are you interested in exploring?
I'm interested in, I don't know. I've been reading and studying so many things that I'm almost just kind of in the dark. Like I've been reading so much and exploring so much that I'm not I'm at a sort of a plateau, it seems, in terms of like passionately wanting to learn about a subject.
You're being redirected. You're being redirected to go internal. When it feels as if you have exhausted the physical reality, oftentimes that's your body letting you know it's time to then explore the inner library, the inner Akashic record. Go in, get to know yourself energetically. And as you get to know yourself more, many of your own questions will get answered. Because again, it is the mind that experiences not knowing. It is the mind that experiences confusion. You are only, let's just say, slightly mind. Your entire being encompasses many other levels altogether. So as you get to know that inner self, which again reflects source, you'll begin to experience yourself on multiple levels, not just mind. Therefore, what you'll find is you won't really care about not knowing because you won't be feeding the aspect of yourself that sees not knowing as a problem. And that quality pertains to the physical mind. So when you exist on a level that is bigger than just the physical mind, you can use many of your other perceptions to experience your life. So you won't really care about not knowing because you won't be stimulating your physical mind in the same way. Instead, you will be stimulating your spirit. You will be stimulating the energetic dimension of yourself that lives in the moment, that is aware of its connection to source, and that will then guide you naturally. So what we would encourage here is instead of seeking so much outwardly at this time, use your resources to dive into yourself. And this will connect to whatever tradition you choose to train in. Because understand that all esoteric traditions are designed to get you to journey within so you can get to know the divinity within you. So as you hone in on a tradition that most greatly represents your heart center, you will find you will develop the inner scaffolding and technologies to assist you in really exploring yourself in these internal ways. And you will find more and more the inner teacher, the inner guide will show you the way.
Okay, that's a giant reframe for me.
Yes, yes. And that's what you're being asked to step into. You are the one that is doing the reframing, and we are simply, let's just say, narrating it out loud in this way.
I'm out of questions.
All right.
So I don't know where we go from here.
Wherever you prefer.
Well, Tyler was mentioning something about activations.
One moment. All right. We only have so much time remaining for this particular session. So we can do something with you, but it will be less elaborate due to the idea of the time constraint.
Okay.
All right. Allow for yourself to get relaxed. Simply connect to your breathing. If you are seated, you can recline in your chair a little bit, placing your hands on your belly and simply feeling your belly expand as you inhale and fall as you exhale. Just pay attention to your breathing. Inhale, expand. Exhale, relax. Inhale, expand. Exhale, relax. Take your arms, your hands, and as you inhale, draw energy from the space around you into you. So as you inhale, take your arms and imagine you're gathering energy into your navel, into your intestines. Inhale, expand, draw energy in. Exhale, push the energy away into the different directions around you. Inhale, draw in. Exhale, expand away. Picturing the universe all around you, seeing yourself seated in the center of the galaxy, draw in energy. Exhale, expand into the galaxy. Going further with each expansion. Inhale, drawing in. And exhale, pushing away. Inhale. Exhale. See yourself as tiny, sitting in the center of a vast universe, drawing in the forces as you inhale. Exhale, expand. And simply sit with your awareness, visualizing yourself being in the center of the universe. Roll your eyes upwardly, maintaining a neutral position of the head, and connect to the space, the portion of the universe that is above you. And see a pool of light glowing at the top of the universe above you. Inhale and see it illuminate. And exhale, see this pool of light glow. Inhale and draw down the light as a beam, a cable, from the top of the universe down into your crown. And see an orb of light at your crown center glowing. Draw this light downwardly to your heart center. See the light glowing at the heart center. Pull the light down into the intestines, level with the navel. And see the light anchor in to your abdominal center. And see your center channel linking the top, middle, and bottoms of the body, glowing with light. Inhale from your crown and pull more light down through the center channel, seeing it glow and become more powerful in nature. Inhale. Exhale, seeing the center channel glowing with light. Inhale, taking in more light, seeing the channel getting bigger, more powerful. Exhale, see the center channel glow, becoming even thicker. Inhale light through your crown once more, pulling it down. And as you exhale, expand the center channel into a bubble around you, a bubble of light surrounding your body. See the center channel become so empowered, an aura of divine light forms around you. And feel this aura as another layer of skin. Inhaling again through the crown. Exhaling into the aura. Inhaling into your crown. Exhaling into the aura. Feeling the aura getting thicker and more powerful with each repetition. Inhale. Exhale. Place your hands on your heart center. Inhale the feeling of love, joy into the heart center from the aura around you. Pull this energy in. Hold for a moment, feeling the energy amplifying in the heart. And as you exhale, expand this energy into the aura. Inhale into the heart center, gathering more love. Exhale into the heart center. And from the heart center into the auric field. And one more time, inhaling into the heart. Exhale, feel the love expand into the aura. Inhale into the heart once more. And say aloud, I awaken.
I awaken.
My inner ascended master.
My inner ascended master.
That recognizes.
That recognizes.
The illusory nature.
The illusory nature.
Of the physical reality.
Of the physical reality.
I, as my ascended master self.
I, as the ascended master self.
Perceive the physical experience.
Perceive the physical experience.
As a loving projection.
As a loving projection.
Of my own imagination.
Of my own imagination.
I understand that my imagination.
I understand that my imagination.
Is connected to my spirit.
Is connected to my spirit.
And I now at this time.
And I now at this time.
Awaken.
Awaken.
The inner spiritual awareness within me.
The inner spiritual awareness within me.
That allows for me.
That allows for me.
To more easily.
To more easily.
Or lucidly.
Or lucidly.
Or passionately.
Or passionately.
Access my imagination.
Access my imagination.
So I may learn how to live as my spirit self.
So I may learn to live as my spirit self.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Clap your hands. Rub them together so they are warm. And gently pat your head, massage your head, brush your hair, bring yourself back into your physical reality a little bit more to ground in some of these frequencies. So what we led you through was a guided energetic activation of your system. If you understand the basic mechanics of your energy body, you can understand how to turn it on in a balanced way. And once you have amplified the energy body through activities like what we have done today, you can then code the energy body with different intentions, different directions you prefer to explore. The words we shared at the end were just an example of a program you can use. But whenever you charge yourself up with energy and then program that energy, you make a more complete shift, a more full body shift into that reality, into that direction. So that is a little gift to you. It is likely you will expand upon what we have shared with you in many different ways as you continue to explore these different passionate directions.
I appreciate this so much.
You are so welcome, and we appreciate you as well. At this time, we are at the end point for this particular transmission, and we thank you for everything you've shared with us this day.
Thank you.
And thank you. Our unconditional love and gratitude to you always. All right. Great
Dude, that
stuff.
was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
So you're available to do this? How does this work?
Yeah, I do sessions really whenever people want. You know, I try to find a really common time zone and schedule for both me and the client. But yeah, I do this pretty much every day. You know, it's like a very active pillar within my own life. So whenever you desire, you know, transmissions or trainings or whatever is connected to your passion, you know, I'm happy to be able to present my own skill sets to help meet you there so those things can be created.
Okay. And what about, do you do interviews that are taped, like podcasts?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I pretty consistently will do interviews, probably about one a month, maybe. Sometimes it can change the interview schedule, but I'm absolutely happy to do interviews. I have a lot of fun doing them too.
Okay. All right, dude, that was so awesome. I have a little bit of influence online, so I probably going to start a podcast. I really enjoyed this personally, but I also think I would enjoy bringing you guys, you people, you all to the world as well.
Oh, well, that would be really sweet. I appreciate the generosity and would be more than happy to receive that invitation.
All right. Well, I'll let you get going, Tyler. It's like
Yeah.
that was super awesome. It was like, yeah, super epic of my fiance to get me a gift like this. It was perfect. So thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I was so happy when I got her message and then, you know, went through the actual session with you, it just pieced so much together, and the whole experience became so beautiful just to see your compassion and love for each other, where she hooked you up with this. I thought it was, really special, really cool.
Okay. Well, enjoy your day.
Awesome. You too, Mr. Ra.
Right.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.